Good evening. I'm Rakesh Kalia and I welcome all the viewers to the next episode of our webinar series titled Is Blended Learning the Only Way Out in Post COVID Schools? Viewers, we have an amazing lineup of eminent school leaders for our today's webinar. I welcome Captain Alokesh Sen,
नमस्कार,
Principal
नमस्कार,
Birla Public School, Pilani, Sri
नमस्कार,
Rahul Dhama, Principal BRCN Vidyagram,
सर, नमस्कार।
Bahal, and Shri Mohit Chog, Principal DAV Public School, Sundarnagar.
नमस्ते।
Namaskar. Friends, COVID 19 has thrown us huge challenges pertaining to teaching learning in our schools. The VUCA world, that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world we are living in, demands sustainable solutions to be introduced in our school system for obtaining better learning outcomes for our students, right? So, blended learning is being talked about lately as a potent solution. So, viewers, let's see what our worthy panelists have to say on this topic. My first question is for Alokesh sir. Sir, how blended learning was being practiced in pre-COVID schools and what changes do you envisage in the post-COVID times? Please, sir.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Mr. Rakesh, and for inviting me to this uh, panel discussion. In fact, every that webinar or the discussion that I attend,
Right.
I learn more and more. In fact, the other worthy panelists from the other worthy panelists and also the anchor who are there,
Correct,
and
sir.
it also gives a lot of opportunity to me to reflect.
Correct.
Since last 9 months or so, we have been undergoing this pandemic situation, which for which we are completely we were taken off the hook. Suddenly, we found that we are nowhere. But somehow we started, in fact, the schools which had been using the technology in the classroom. So obviously, those are the schools which could balance themselves better. I can and faster also. So I am one of those fortunate schools, or mine is one of those fortunate schools where a lot of technology was being used in the classroom, and that is why how. But then, however, what we are talking about today is the blended learning. In fact, blended learning is a very different term. It is critically different from but easily confused with the much broader term, that is equipping classroom with devices and softwares and gadgets. That is what generally comes to our mind about the blended learning.
Correct.
And the people use the term either too broadly. The blended learning is being used uh, and referred to all educational technologies, the blended learning crammed into a classroom, and or too narrowly to point the only the types of blended learning that they like the best. That is how you know. But blended learning, in ideal terms, actually it came with this beginning of this 21st century. Only this blended learning concept came, but I can tell you that blended learning in its true sense, I'll just briefly talk about the blended learning. And blended learning is any formal education program in which the student learns at least in part through online, and also with some elements of student control over time, place, path, and also the pace of learning. That is what is called blended learning.
Correct.
So for blended learning, it is not only that technology which is necessary, it is also the involvement of the brick and mortar schools, because it is not only home, it's not the home learning, it is not the distance learning, it is not online learning, and it is not school alone, what we are, used to the traditional, mode of our learning coming to the school and all this thing. So this is what blended learning is, a mixture of all these things. And blended learning, primarily one of the main elements of blended learning is the student has to be given the control of the, as I mentioned, like control of the content, control of the pace, control of the time. These are the things which are to be given. If a teacher is actually uploading all his lesson plan, all his content on the online, and the student has to come at his own time and just looks at it, that is, the student doesn't have a control over it. So there has to be an interaction of the teacher and the student, which has to be there. So blended learning, actually, you have to have an involvement of the brick and mortar school also. It is not a distance learning.
Correct.
And especially, I must tell you that blended learning was hardly being practiced in the pre-COVID scenario in India. Most of the schools, I can guarantee that most of the schools, blended learning was not the one actual sense. Blended learning was never practiced. Blended learning is a concept which has come, and people started reflecting about it during the COVID situation, because what is going to happen in the post-COVID situation? Is this thing going to happen? And obviously, there is some amount of that we have to adopt to this blended learning. But blended learning, cannot be only the form of learning where the student doesn't come to the classroom at all. It cannot happen. And because in India we are highly our mindset is such, mindset of the parents are such that it is not only, it is also partly, the school is also partly for the purpose of custody of the children, for the safety of the children. The students also want to learn, and so these are they also want to have fun, so they want to come to the classroom also, come to the school premise also. So this is what is the blended learning. Blended learning is at its completely infancy, or at this point of time.
Correct, correct, sir. Very rightly said, sir. A very valid point you raised, that blended learning doesn't mean that schools don't have any relevance, now or even post-COVID, but schools will regain, rather they will have more importance, brick and mortar schools, and the learning has to be fully supervised. Non-supervised learning doesn't happen. That is for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's wonderful, sir. So Alokesh, sir, sorry, Dhama sir, your take on this, sir.
Sir, first of all, thank you
Welcome,
for
sir.
being the panelist.
Welcome.
Such a nice setup. And let me share something that whenever we say now blended learning is the need of the hour, but before COVID or before this pandemic, what we were doing actually, we were training our students or our teachers to get something done for the benefit of the entire society. Like whenever we are going to teach our students, we have something in our mind that they should get something in terms of their knowledge, in terms of their physical stamina, in terms of you can say whatever they can.
Yes, sir. You can start, please.
Yeah, actually, when we come to blended learning, it is just a shifting from traditional chalk and stark classroom to the mix up of some kind of engaging activities, if I must say, that we were missing something in our previous time. Actually, previously, what we had, it is a lecture concept. Lecture concept, just a teacher is going and just putting his and her effort for 40 minutes and 50 minutes. But now, after gives you only 5 to 10 minutes.
Correct.
After 5 minutes, just take a break, and then whatever the experiment you can dictate or you can explain to your students, that will give you the output. Earlier, what we do, it was just a group activity or group classroom. Now, again, we have group method, but it is in short numbers. Earlier, you had 40 students in your classes, but now you will have to you have to stick yourself up to 5 to 6 students. Then only you can come to that point and you can give some kind of quality.
Correct.
So what we had earlier, the same line of action is same, but with a little bit changes, we have to be stick to a specific quality, specific content, and the engagement is more from teacher side. Engagement is more from student side also because they have more time to engage. They have more time for explanation. Earlier, what we had just a teacher and student talk. Teacher is explaining, student is hearing, and again the vice versa. But now what we have after post-COVID, what there is some kind of explanation between students also. We should have peer groups. So they have some kind of generation that what kind of activities in day-to-day life they can insert, what they can arrange from their nearby atmosphere. So it will be beneficial for other groups also, for other students also. So what we had pre-COVID scenario, pre-COVID era, it is just going the same way, but with some enhancement capacity, with some brush up techniques. So these brush up techniques, when we come to, it gives a lot of confidence to the teachers fraternity also, to the students also, and to their parents also. Everybody is everybody is getting updated using all the laptops, using mobiles, e-learning, this that. But whenever we say that after post-COVID, what is blended? So blended means some kind of actually nowadays we talk about experiential learning. Experiential learning, when we say, so it is just the engagement, the participation of our students, participation of teachers, participation of all education industry. Everybody is engaging, but with a little bit more comfortable, more explanatory concept actually. So what we say, when we come to blended learning, we will have to see all these parts, all these scenarios to mix up for the benefit of the students. In this part, obviously, ultimately, teachers also going to be benefited. The students also be going to be benefit. Like we are going to dependency on trainers when we blend it with teachers and students. What we are going to wider opportunity to engage our learning. Ultimately, somewhere we are going to course cutting mode when we go for this one. So there are so many things, and we have so many models also that by using those independently, you can go for blended learning, and you can have so many aspects like you can enhance your abilities, you can enhance your learning capacities. Earlier, what? Earlier, it was just on a track, on a right track, undoubtedly, but now on a right track, but with a rhythm that everybody can enjoy that learning process. Now it is, so we can say we are doing the same work, but with a more comfortable environment, with a more comfortable zone, so everybody can enjoy. And nowadays, actually, I must say that if my colleagues will cooperate me, that nowadays it is the need of the hour that teaching and learning, it should come on such a platform that every part, every stakeholder, whether the teacher, whether the student, they can enjoy that process, so that only we can overcome that what are the hurdles in teaching, what are the hurdles in learning. So because of this scenario, this process, where we come to this blended learning, means it is the only answer that whatever we have earlier, we can answer this question using blended learning to gain and to be quality wise. Otherwise, everything is going fine. There is no issue. Everybody is using online classes, online content. There are so many contents you can say, and so many channels are there, so many stakeholders are there. But it is not only the purpose just sitting in front of a monitor and checking the questions, checking the contents, and just copying them and writing in their notebooks. But blended learning, what says? It says that using that platform, that's okay, but with some extra inputs, That extra input, it is from teacher side also, it is from student side also. Then we can say blended learning is the answer to all these happenings, what we can enjoy in a comfortable manner.
Good, sir. So that's good, sir. You mentioned about not only it's not only about technology interventions, but again we need to have some sort of academic curricular
Academic
changes
curriculum,
also, so
obviously.
that some outside help could be sees the they could be amalgamated with the existing school practices
Actually,
so that
actually,
students gain more. Right, sir. So,
actually.
yes. So, Chug sir, your take on this, sir, please.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everyone. And in agreement with the whatever said by Captain Saab and later on by Mr. Dhama also. Actually, you clicked a topic that blended learning, how it had been in the earlier times in the pre-COVID, and what would be its scenario in the post-COVID. So, in my view, if I see my school and my vicinity locality in the hardship of this Himachal Pradesh area, when the where the children were not very used to the technology earlier, and in that view, pre-COVID, as defined by Captain Saab, कि blended learning could be taken as the learning, the offline learning, the classroom learning, assisted by some electronic gadgets. But now, as you clicked on this COVID topic, when we summarize it with COVID, then obviously the blended, what we means it, ki, it is a blend of offline and online learning process. So before, if we talk about the pre-COVID session, then hardly we are into somewhere blended learning by force. It was by choice. We in the school never wish to take a data that how many students of this and this class are into coaching somewhere online at home with their own choice, with the choice of their parents. We hardly took such a data because it doesn't matter to us, and moreover it is not more than 5% who took such kind of online coaching at home. It was their choice only, nothing to do with the school. So there was almost no kind of blended learning process pre-COVID, if we talk about the pre-COVID time. And now the transition of pre-COVID, post-COVID, that means in the COVID situation, everything has been inversed. Most of the children, we are forcibly into the only one mode of learning. That means online learning only. So again, the blend doesn't have any question here to answer. Now, if we talk about, if we emphasize about the future of this blended kind of learning, then definitely it would be a very, very different kind of things to happen in future. Whenever the COVID will go, then definitely, as everyone learned how to get benefit of this online teaching, not only the students, these are the teachers also, these are the schools also. We people learned a lot that how this online teaching could be blended with the offline teaching to get the maximum potential out of the students. And it's a very going to be very vast thing in future, I hope so. And in my view, so because it depends upon the resources of the school also, resources of the parents also, they to how much extent the children and the parents wish to go for the benefit of this blended kind of learning. As far as my school is concerned, which is in the hilly area, so I think what I have learned from this COVID kind of situation, that at least कम से कम रिसोर्सेज का बहुत ज्यादा इस्तेमाल ना भी करें अगर, तब भी कम से कम one thing I have learned and I make it final for my post COVID session is, earlier times में we were the people who request the teachers to come to the school, because mine one is not the boarding school, sir. So we always try to request the teachers and to engage them in the vacation time also to have emphasis on the learning module of 10th and 12th classes, at least for the board classes, to get a good kind of quality result in our school. So what I have learned, at least minimum करके भी अगर कोई चीज मैंने सीखी है तो वो ये कि खासकर वेकेशंस टाइम में आने वाले दौर में पोस्ट कोविड में no one to bother more, not the children, not the teachers. I have to only ask them to have a planned way of learning, educating the children from home to home. Need not to come to the school, at least in the vacation time. So thoroughly revise the syllabi from home to home, because we learnt now how to give it, how to take the efficient learning from this blended kind of learning, sir. This is my point of view.
Good, sir.
It's
Great,
going
sir.
to
Great,
be
great.
in the post-COVID session, it is going to be have a very, very vast impact of the learning, in my view, sir.
Good, sir. Good, sir. So, rightly said, sir, that blended learning basically has a huge potential, bridge this quality gap that you have just mentioned. Quality gap means if you don't have any, if you want to source some good quality learning from any part of the world, you can use those online resources and then integrate those resources with your offline, brick and mortar school system.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this way blended learning has certainly got huge potential. So friends, there are more than say 4,500 edtech startups in India, creating host of solutions around the problems being faced by our K-12 schools. So navigating through the clutter of solutions is a mammoth task, for the school leadership. Having said that, edtech could be helpful in bringing the most desirable solutions for the schools. So, Alokesh sir, how edtech startups could play a positive role in the efficient implementation of blended learning in schools? Sir, your video, if you could switch on your video.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yes, sir, please. Yes, you can start.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. So, Alokesh sir, how edtech startups could play a positive role in the efficient implementation of blended learning in schools?
You see, as I said, the blended learning, it is actually blended learning. It is not blended teaching. That
Correct.
distinction has to be understood. So it is more from the student's perspective. The student is to be given more control. Actually, student is to be given the control. Student is to be given more access to the content. It is not that the teacher, whatever he or she selects, and it has to be a blending between, as you rightly said or we discussed, like it has to be the online, the material which are there, and then the brick and mortar classroom instruction. It cannot be a home learning, or it cannot be a home school alone, distance learning, or only online courses that we used to do. It's very, very distinct.
Correct.
This is what is the blended learning. Is the concept is yet to actually come to the schools, to be very honest, because it is blended learning. It's not blended teaching. The
Yeah.
moment, because we are obsessed with teaching than learning even now also. So the pedagogy there has been a shift. So we have to understand that. And here also there is we have to understand there is a big difference between the teaching and blended learning. So it is the student's perspective which is to be understood.
True.
Now, what is the point of time the teacher has to, intervene, and the student has to come to the teacher and all these things, that is to be understood. You see, all three of us, we are the heads of the private schools, unaided schools, if I am not mistaken.
Yeah,
Mr.
true.
Chug is also from DAV Group, and that is a purely unaided school. And I know BFSIN is unaided, and mine is also a private unaided schools.
Yeah.
We have the resources definitely compared to the government schools. I have a government school here whom we have adopted, very, very, it is not right to say, but we say that we have adopted that government school.
Hmm.
They have such resource crunch, and it is a reality. Like
Correct.
all our projects we undertake, we have undertaken in the services. We have got a service. One of the pillars of our curriculum is services. Our students, along with other schools, collaborated, and then we have undertaken, what is called building the toilets for the girls there. Otherwise, girls were not, the grown-up girls, they were not able to, they have their issues and all these things. And the dilapidated toilets broken, there was no resource. The principal was saying we don't have any resource. So we have donated them the library. We have donated them the chair tables which have been built in our carpentry section, and our boys have cannibalized. So what I'm bringing home, the reality of the our country is that it is more of a government schools than the private schools. Private schools have come, but the majority is the government school. And
Yeah.
blended learning ke liye first thing which is necessary for any startup or anything is a resources. Okay, if you want to that the complete education scenario will be shifting to blended learning, it is not possible, because it's not possible.
True.
Because the blended learning, the schools have to have the resources for the blended learning that schools unfortunately do not have, nor the parents have the resources. They're all poor, I mean, poor people only send their children to the government school because it is free. If you have heard, about 2 months back there was a news item that one of the girls who joined Sriram College, Delhi, the girl was from Hyderabad. Girl was actually from Hyderabad. Because of her high meritorious, her merits, she took admission in Shriram College, which is having conducting online classes. She could not actually afford the online classes sitting at Hyderabad or somewhere in Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. I don't remember. But from that, she committed suicide actually. She came under so much of your pressure because she was an outstanding student. She committed suicide because she was not able to, or she could not afford that technology and could not able to keep pace with the online classes which was going on in her college. So similarly is the case, all our private schools here, 25% is that RTE may you have to
Yeah.
reserve for the those economic weaker section, EWS. Okay, it is the same thing happening. We may be enjoying, but that particular parent is not able to afford. The same thing is happening here also in our private school. So this is a big question mark when you are actually saying we, the private school, we were very well off, and I know that we can take off to any level. Technologically, as I said, I was one of the schools, I can proudly say that, which was very advanced in the technology and all this. At least in last about 7 8 years or so, we have gone very advanced. But this is not, mine is not actually the the what the school in India or the student, my students are not the students of the our country. I'm sure that all three principals, we have studied in government schools. I have studied
I,
in a government school.
I am
I
also
haven't had the
yeah.
opportunity of studying in a public school or this kind of school and enjoying. My children, of course, they have enjoyed a better school and all these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know the ground level what is the status of the government school, and it hasn't changed much, honestly speaking. It hasn't changed it much. So therefore, resources at the, if you are saying in the country post COVID, will it take over? Yes, it will be taking over. There is no doubt. Though as a boarding school, I do not actually online classes. I don't actually encourage much online classes because it is against my interest actually, my school's interest, because boarding school is all about physical interaction, and our whole thing is that along with curriculum, that pastoral care is there. You actually build the personality, and for that a lot of such things. But then here in a boarding school scenario, probably except boy is staying for about 10 months, 9.5 months in the school and 2.5 months at home. So 9.5 months, we have also decided that boy need not have to come to the classroom. He can this thing, he can join the blended teaching and all these things. The teacher need not have to come. But then it's not very relevant if you see, Mr. Kalia. It's not very relevant in a boarding school scenario because the teacher is next door only, next to the hostel. The teacher is there.
Yeah.
Teachers quarters are attached also to the this thing. They have got a study room there. So in my, but then I'll not talk about the boarding school, but yes, for the day school, the blended teaching will definitely be the routine thing which will be there. More and more such blended learning and blended teaching, blended classroom will be there. because parents are now opting. Parents are there has been an opportunity for everyone that even if my child is not going to the school, he is still able to learn for whatever reason my child is not going. And parents have started opting for another model where the child will stay at home, not go for all the days, okay, and then still become a and this has become a threat to boarding school. I must confess, this has come as a threat to the boarding school, because there are two components of the fees. One is your boarding fee, another is your tuition fee. The parents are saying we will pay tuition fee, not pay the boarding fee. He's not coming for say 6 months. Okay, he's still learning at home. So he will come for next 6 months. He will pay the boarding fee only for those other things which are there only for 6 months. So these are the so far this thing is concerned. So we are also undergoing a very different kind of changes, probably, which is an inevitable change. I will say that this blended teaching, whether you like or don't like, it's going to be an inevitable change, probably for better. And school like ours will have to we have to orient ourselves. School like your boarding school and other school, and probably schools in general, we have to orient ourselves to this blended learning. There is absolutely. And here the edtech companies which are there, you say 4,500 companies are there. The problem is of the resources which I discussed. The second thing is the training. So training is a big thing, because the teachers still do not understand actually what is actually how to make use, effective use. It is actually standing in front of camera is not enough. It is an effective use, because again I come to that point that blended learning is the student's perspective. So the teacher has to understand how the student is going to gain maximum. And in order to do that, the teacher has to be extremely comfortable with the gadgets. So this training is an issue which is there. So the edtech companies also had to take care of this particular training, because it is still, it's a big barrier, mental block still, which is there. Teachers are being forced now. They are going in front of the camera, teaching like a classroom and coming back. If the board is there also, you will find, and teaching or whatever, So that the training is another big issue. The gadgets which are required is an issue. And I mean, I think there is no way out. I mean, it's an inevitable change which you cannot, all the schools have to orient itself to this particular change post COVID, because this will be demanded. It will bring in a lot of changes, and like we are going to reach new normal. This is also part of the new normal that we are going to. It is brick and mortar. It's a combination of brick and mortar school, then home learning, distance learning, all these things together. And we have to remain ready for that. But unfortunately, the government schools and schools in general, they will not be, I don't think they can adapt so well, because of, resource crunch and obvious reasons which are there. Thank you.
Very rightly highlighted, sir, Alokis sir. Regarding the government schools, you said there are more than 1.5 million schools in India right now, and more than 90% they are government schools. So surely we'll have to think about bridging that digital divide that which exists between the government and the private schools. Private schools are certainly resourceful, quite resourceful. They can get the best quality of technology, the latest technology into the classrooms. But government schools are still struggling. That government has to take care of that. So with that, basically, friends, as industry 4.0 is unfolding before us, that involves IoT, Internet of Things, or artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. The managements across the world are seriously considering reskilling their workforces. So education industry, and in particular K-12 schools, need to reskill teachers, in light of new education policy and future job market. This is very important. So Rahul sir, how school teachers must reskill themselves to derive maximum benefits out of new blended learning programs in schools?
Actually, first, let me say something about this blending learning, that what we need in exact way.
Correct.
What learning is about finding better ways of supporting students in achieving the learning objective and
Correct.
providing them with the best possible learning and teaching experience, as well as supporting teachers in their profession.
Mhm.
This is actually blended learning.
Correct.
Means when we say blended learning, we talk about students, we talk about teachers, we talk about upliftment of their profession also. We are talking about that how they can come up if they have some kind of lacuna. So it doesn't matter whether they are private, they are governing to private sector, or they are coming from a government school. But we have to plan about this one. What when we say blended learning, that is a formal educational program in which a student learns at least in part, like through only online delivery and with the help of some offline instructions and content, with some element of student control over time, place, path, and pace, and at least in part in a supervised brick and mortar place away from home, whenever we say blended learning. So when we say that how a teacher can be benefited, so already as I discussed earlier that we all are the part of blended learning, but we are missing it. Like if I say we have some kind of tools regarding blended learning, what are the tools? Let me share. First is short lectures. Whenever we say lectures, so we don't go for 40 to 50 minutes. We stick to it 5 to 7 minutes only. We say case studies. Obviously, from the beginning, we have case studies. Next, role play. Can't we have role play in our school? We have, but it is the part of blended learning. Multimedia presentation and review. Obviously, everyone is doing. Experiential activity, whether it is indoor or outdoor. If we don't have experiential activity, so we can't overcome with our online support to the face-to-face or physical classes. So we have to sum up all these things. Scenario thinking, the part of blended learning. Group discussion and presentation. Self-assessment tool. Whenever we say self-assessment tool, and we say these are the tools of blended learning. So if a teacher passing through all these channels, obviously the teacher will have to learn a lot of things, and it is the chance to get himself or herself up to that level that he can say or he can answer all the parts, whatever the student fraternity have, or whatever the people or whatever the parents they are asking. But without these tools, we can't move ahead. Like whenever we say blended learning, it is only no. If my teacher is not well versed with all these tools, how can we transfer that education to our students? So, like Piyush sir says that need of the hour is to train the teachers, right? Already they are in the phase of the training. But we have to brush up that what is the blended learning phase. Whenever we say lecture mode, obviously it is lecture mode, but we need to have a short lecture. We need to have case study. Case study, when we come to say case study, it is just one to one. Like whenever we say that blended learning, how can we improve, how can we do? So we have 6 models in blended learning. Yeah. So when we say blended learning, how to support a student from teacher side. So we have 6 models. Like first one is face-to-face driver model. What we have in this? When we say face-to-face driver model, it is one-to-one student. Means all the things, all the content is delivered to online to the student. And we are not talking about a full class. We are talking about only one student.
Continue, please. Jason. Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Actually, whenever we say about some models regarding blended learning, so first is it is face-to-face driver model. It is just like when we say sitting in the class, sitting inside the classroom, and your teacher is teaching, but the teacher is teaching to all the students. It is just comprising of 50 students or 40 students. But now face-to-face driver model of blended learning, it says that all the content is delivered to the student online only. But the student is being attended by a teacher to one mode. Means that content is delivered to only a specific student, and the same student it is attended by a teacher with all the guidelines, with all the directions. But in online mode, what we have given the content to separate students, same content to all the group, same content to whole class, whether it has 5 students or have 50 students. But face-to-face driver model in blended learning, it says the content is different to all the students, but not missing the theme of the objective. So it says that attending a student with different approach, that gives you the outcome. So this is the difference between online, offline, and the blended. So whenever we say online plus offline, it gives you the blended. So it means we have some kind of output. For that output, so teachers should be trained. They should have their hands very expertise. They should have how to deal with the case study. They should have how to self-assess first that we can attend our students, because generally whenever we sit online, so any student can ask so many things, so many questions. So we should ready to answer that particular student, because every student has its own different problem. So this is just face-to-face driver model. Like then we have rotation model also. Then we have flex model also in blended learning, and online lab also we have self blend model also in this. So like if we say blended learning, so we should think little bit on a different line of action. We can't say that just going into the class like in a face-to-face or offline mode, and we can approach with our students. We say it is the part of blended mode or blended learning, and yes, we have completed our part. No. Yeah.
Hello.
Actually, yeah. When we come to this part, like private schools and government schools, that's okay, fine. Private schools, they have infrastructure, they have good kind of support from management also in terms of say money, I should say simply, and the fund for the private schools. But government also, they are supplying all the things. They are putting their effort. So it is need of the hour that like EdTech and other players in the field, they should come forward and to update all government schools management and the teachers.
Thanks, Rahul sir. So, viewers, as we all know that adoption and implementation of latest technologies or academic interventions do not fructify unless they culminate into increased student learning outcomes, right? So, Mohit sir, please enlighten our viewers on the potential of blended learning in increasing student learning outcomes.
Yeah, sure. Kalia ji, basically, in my view, the potential of the online or this kind of blended learning is again very vast, as I quoted earlier also when I was on the dais, and I discussed it. And I firmly believe that the potential is very, very vast. The thing is, basic thing is, when we talk about potential anywhere, suppose for our viewer, let me make it a little simpler by quoting an example that if we talk about the river flow and we have a suppose we have a plan of establishing some kind of hydro project over there,
Mhm.
then potential of the river as such is said ki this river has a potential of 250 megawatt,
Right.
but the dam could not be designed at every point of the river. Wherever the stream of the river is flowing, it would not be done. I
Right.
think, in my view, the parallel is the situation with the learner also, as Captain Saab already very truly said. Okay, it is a basically blended learning. It is a part of the student.
Right.
So, student to get the maximum output, yeah, maximum learning output from this blended kind of learning in the post-COVID session, COVID time. It is a learner who have to learn where to establish his hydro project over this dam of many kind of techno inputs are there in front of him.
Right.
So basically, because it would be a very time consuming process for a learner to get the right thing over his tab or over his mobile in a very stipulated period of time, because we never want as a parent, we never want as a teacher, we never want as an administrator also ki my student must go on clicking to various doors of the internet, and finally after 4 hours he could got to know ki this is my right door to get into it, get to step in. This must not happen.
Right.
So again, I must say the teacher or the educator or the facilitator like you plays a very important role in that. We should definitely let a learner know that this would be your very right door where you can knock once and you get entered into and you can have the maximum learning output from it. So in my view, in my school, I wish my team of members would be doing so in the future also, in the post-COVID time, whenever we will face that post-COVID time. Then in that time also, along with the offline course, that means classroom teaching, we would be the one who would be telling them continuously where to click for this topic, from where you can get the proper output learning process for you, for your benefit. Because we can if our child is going to knock for the 4 hours to get the ultimate source of knowledge in the internet or somewhere, then we as a teacher would be doing it in 15 minutes only,
Correct.
because we are quite mature and we can guess, we can just smell it out where the knowledge storehouse of knowledge is hiding, and where we can tell them you have to click there. So we need from you as a facilitator, what we need is in future I am expecting the people like you to get intervene into the schools and to help the students to by producing such kind of encyclopedia or such kind of directory to us. Okay, sir, this for this topic, this would be the module, and where you can click in and you can get the good output learning process also, learning also. This is my view, sir.
Good. Well said, Mohit sir. So blended learning must engage students. That's the only gist of the whole discussion, and address their individual learning needs, as Alokesh sir also highlighted, so that it results in increased learning outcomes. So facilitators, us like us, see, they have some role to play, but not the entire one force, because school is such an entity which is central to the school academics. So basically, there has to be designed some sort of very short interventions to fill those learning gaps in the school academics. So certainly the online teaching platforms cannot overtake the entire academic system of a school, but they
Yeah,
can provide some useful learning interventions
yeah,
wherever
yeah.
it is necessary, wherever the school system, school ecosystem requires that those gaps can be filled up.
True,
So
true.
so that's wonderful. Thanks, Alokesh sir, Rahul sir. and Mohit sir for all your outstanding remarks in today's webinar. Viewers, COVID-19 will likely require all students to learn at least part-time at home, for sure. So many blended models are worth consideration for schools. Our worthy panelists have offered us a blueprint for how teachers can design instruction to meet the constraints and even opportunities. On that note, I again thank all the respected panelists on sparing their precious time. Thank you very much again and good evening to all, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.